From the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
Don't hold it against me that I don't own a single stock or bond. Don't hold it. I have no savings account. But I get a great pension and I get a good salary.
But according to Biden's most recent financial disclosure, he has money in 11 different investment funds and as much as $15,000 in a savings account. His office says the vice president was telling the truth because the investments belong to his wife.
All right, what can I say about this, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Joe Biden making a point to say he has no savings account, no stocks, no nothing, and then he's got investments in 11 different mutual funds and 15 grand in a savings account. I know it's not his, it's his wife's. Here we go again. Here we go again with the Clinton speak. Here we go again with the, Clinton saying about Hillary, she was technically right. We were in debt. We were broke. To say I don't have anything, and then it turns out your wife has it. I'm sorry. It just smacks of disingenuousness to me anyway. But this vice president gets a pass. This man has always gotten a pass, except when he was accused of plagiarism, caught plagiarizing, I should say, accused of it. Well, I'll say caught because he dropped out of the presidential race back in, I think this was the 80s in some point. And of course, when he was running for president in 2008 in the Democratic primaries, he said some outrageously racist things, in my view, things that if it were said by a Democrat, by a Republican, they'd be gone. And in succession almost. Remember the 7-Eleven or Dunkin' Donuts? You got to have an Indian accent to walk into a 7-Eleven or Dunkin' Donuts in Delaware. Remember when he was asked, why is education better in Iowa than it is in D.C.? He said, well, how many minorities you got in Iowa? 2%? Look what you got in D.C. I'm paraphrasing. Racist? Racist? You decide. And Barack Obama is the first clean, articulate African-American to run for president. Clean? The others were dirty? But hey, this guy gets a pass. He's just crazy old Joe Biden, baby. So do I expect the media to take him to task for this? Really? Because he said he has no savings and he has no stocks, and it turns out there's 11 mutual funds and 15 grand in savings? No, because it's his wife's, you see. Oh, well, that explains it. I want you to watch this.
The point is, more important is not how much they make or how much they have. The point is, what can they do in terms of solving the nation's problems, right, and doing something remarkable for the middle class and income inequality. Yeah. It's the quality of their ideas, not their bank account.
Not their salaries. I mean, Vice President Biden was long known as one of the poorest members of Congress. He makes $230,000 as vice president. But I think more importantly than nitpicking on what people say is the policies that they carry out. We've got to be, as journalists, more serious about examining the
income
policy.
Inequality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what they say. Did you hear this? It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter how much they have. We have to, as journalists, we have to be more concerned about investigating the policy on income inequality. Really? Really? Is that how they react to Republicans who make false statements or misleading statements? Well, it doesn't matter what he says. Let's just look at the record. Let's look at his heart. Let's look at who he is and what he's fought for his whole life. That's just how they treated Mitt Romney, wasn't it, if I'm not mistaken? Remember, Mitt Romney was responsible for killing a man's wife because Bain bought a company that went out of business, and eventually she lost her health insurance, and eventually she died. That was Mitt Romney's fault. He should have charged him with murder. See, it doesn't count if you're not telling the truth and you're a Democrat. But if you're a Republican, watch out, baby. Charlie Hertz next. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm back this week with this very important question. Is your doctor taking your blood pressure correctly? You may assume so, but a new study shows you may be wrong. According to this new research, doctors often cut corners when taking blood pressure and record readings that may be much too high. This is important information. First, if your blood pressure reading is wrong, you could be misdiagnosed with high blood pressure and put on powerful drugs for the rest of your life. You could also be denied health insurance, and your job may even be put in jeopardy. This is important information, so pay close attention. Number 1, is your doctor using the right size blood pressure cuff? Cuffs come in 2 different sizes, average and large, but too often only the average size cuff is even used, even on the person with a larger forearm. If the cuff is too tight, the reading will be too high. Number 2, is your blood pressure taken in both of your arms? Doctors are taught that this is not mandatory, but it should be. Even a small difference between the 2 pressure readings can mean you are at great risk of suffering from a stroke or even dying of heart disease. And number 3, is your blood pressure taken when you are seated on the examining table with your legs dangling in the air? If so, your reading may be 10 points too high. You should be seated in the chair with your feet on the floor and your legs apart and relaxed. Don't cross your legs at either the knees or the ankles. Remember, if your doctor doesn't take your blood pressure the correct way, you could be putting your health at risk. Many of you already have my book, The Simple Heart Cure. So if you do, you can read all about high blood pressure in Chapter 8. That's my health tip for this week. I'll see you next week with another important Heart Health Minute.
Get your copy of Dr. Crandall's best-selling book, The Simple Heart Cure, for just $4.95 with this special offer. Go to www.simpleheartbook.com to get your copy today. That's simpleheartbook.com.